Welcome, guys, to episode 51 of Redacted. I'm sitting here with Twerk17, and we are joined by David Ladyman and Ryan Archer. Unfortunately, BoredGamer was unable to attend today as something came up with him, but in his presence, we still have his bar. So we have that. David Ladyman and Ryan Archer, welcome to Redacted.
Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome. And how are you guys doing today?
We're doing reasonable well. The weather's beautiful outside. We're getting stuff done. We're looking at our Kickstarter total and seeing that we might make it, we might not.
Well, let's see what we can do to sort of hopefully make it there. Now, I know that myself and Twerk have a few questions for you guys about not only Star Citizen, but Star Traders as well. Why don't you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves and your involvement in Star Citizen and then your involvement in Star Traders as well?
Okay, I'll start. I have been involved with Star Citizen since December of 2012, so a month or two after all the various initial crowdfunding. I've been doing Jump Point since that time, editing it, putting it together, getting lots of wonderful material from all throughout the company and turning it into something that subscribers and others can read. I have also worked some on brochures, on manuals, on, I'm leaving something out. A little bit on the dev side at the beginning, and that's most of it, unless we think of something else here in a minute.
Yeah, I think we're both kind of all over the place. For about a year, I was the primary marketing artist for Star Citizen.
Okay.
I did all of the PowerPoints for Chris and his presentations. I worked on the brochures with David, worked on the manuals with David, worked on the Jump Point with David. Also, I do blueprints for a lot of the concept sales. I did some of the poster designs. I did a lot of the art you see on the website for, like, I'll render out ships. And I did the star map art, the original star map art. It's been changed since then.
Yeah.
I pretty much anything visual for a while there was me. Anything that was 2D was me.
Right. No, very awesome. And David Ladyman, you worked with Chris before this project as well, is that correct?
Yes. He and I were at Origin Systems in the 90s at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
He got there before I did. He did a couple, 3 games, including Wing Commander 1, and I came on about a month or two after it was released in that time period. And then for 6 years, anything he did, my publications department created the documentation and the game guide for it.
Oh, right on.
I'm a huge Ultima Online nerd. Were you there during that time?
I had nothing to do with Ultima.
No,
that
game.
I got there just after Ultima 6 was released,
Okay.
and Savage Worlds. I worked on Martian Dreams. There we go, Martian Dreams. And then Ultima 7, Blackgate, Serpent Isle, and Ultima 9, 8, and 9 to a certain extent. That at some point in there, the publications department spun off and we became our own company, but we still contracted back and did docs. And then we did a lot of work on Ultima Online.
Awesome.
What would you guys individually? Obviously, you both do different aspects of different things within Star Citizen. What would you say is your for David Ladyman, maybe your favorite jump point or favorite thing that you've worked on so far? And same with Ryan Archer. What was the blueprint or posters or whatever that you enjoyed working on the most? What if you had to pick one that stood out to you?
Do you have an answer?
I actually do.
Okay, he's gonna talk.
All right. Well, process.
A couple weeks back, we were at a Bar Citizen event, and someone had asked me that question. I had to think about it, but if you guys follow me on Twitter at all, the Twitter banner that I have on my Twitter account. It's two redeemers doing a bombing run over a city, and that's probably my favorite piece that I've worked on so far, just because
I've seen that. It's awesome.
I'm very proud of it. It's based off of, I think it might have been Ryan Church did the original concept for it, and he did an image that was similar in the same kind of same kind of layout and everything, and the ships are in the same position, and so I was mimicking his work, trying to nod back to the original design, and I don't know, I just think it turned out really great, and I'm very proud of that piece. I'm proud of everything I've done for Star Citizen, but that piece is one that I just kind of,
Yeah, so I have it actually up here on the screen here, and it is a very awesome piece. And I also linked your Ryan Archer's Twitter in chat there if you want to go and give him a follow or go check out the artwork for yourself. Yeah, so
I might give away a print of that later on Sunday when we're doing an 8-hour live stream for the last day of our Kickstarter, and CIG has given me the permission to make some prints of some of the work I've done, and so our plan is to give away some stuff as well as some older stuff that people might enjoy, and Ben's donating some ships, and so we're hoping that that'll be one of the pieces.
Oh, very nice.
And just so you guys know, that live stream is going to be on Clifford, aka Miku's channel. A lot of you guys know him, but if you don't, I'm putting the link in the chat now. Make sure you hit that follow button so when they do go live on Sunday, that you know where it's going to be.
Yep,
so
and
you can be
that's
there.
going to be an 8-hour event on Sunday. Is that correct?
Yes, and I'm sure we'll mention it again, but it's Central Time, Sunday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon till 10 o'clock at night. And 10 o'clock is when, actually, we'll probably roll over past 10 a few minutes, because 10 is when the campaign ends.
Okay.
Okay. I think that's -5 GMT as well, Central Time, right now.
Is it?
I
Is
think
5 or 6?
I don't.
Eastern right now at the moment is 4 because they haven't changed over yet.
Oh, I
So
see.
Central has to be 5 for
Abolish that.
for like another week or something like that.
Just get rid of the whole time changing thing. Just
Yeah.
get rid of it. It's just a waste. It confuses everybody. It doesn't help anybody out. We're in the age of the internet. All right, just give me one time for everybody.
I know, right?
Yeah, you think. Now, David, did you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Getting the first printed jump point put together, taking 750 pages of PDF and turning that into something that actually could be printed full color and not cost, $200 or $300. That was neat.
Yeah.
Being able to do that. Besides that, all of the stuff that goes in there, the work in progress, the lore, the behind the scenes, that is mostly done by other folks, and I take their work and make it look good, or it already looks good, but make it look good in that format. Some of the stories at the end, which some people like and some people don't like, the fiction at the end of Jump Point, I helped select that, and that's fun. There was one story in particular that at first everybody hated, and then they decided maybe they didn't hate it so much. It's the one where the little girl was speaking in cant, and it made it very hard to understand what she was saying, especially for our folks who did not have English as a first language. I apologize then, I'll apologize now, but it was still in the story.
Awesome.
Nice. So we know who you guys are now, and we did watch the Kickstarter video, but tell us a little bit about the game you're working on, Star Traders. It's
a fun game. Let me think about what we said in the video so I don't repeat ourselves too much. It's you're a brave space pilot jumping from world to world, picking up cargoes, delivering cargoes, playing traders' luck cards on each other that will prolong your turn, give you more prestige, slow other people down, divert them, get them lost. all in the name of getting enough Starbucks, enough prestige, and enough stations, star stations, that you can petition the Emperor for one final mission. If you finish that mission before anyone else, then you win the game. You are the Star Czar.
Nice. And then how do the missions work? Because you pick up mission cards, and you have to complete the missions in order to make Starbucks, right? Essentially,
there are as many missions going as there are players in the game, as many contracts. Excuse me. And in fact, if the board's showing someplace, it's the big triangles are where you stick the contract cards. And everybody has access to all the contracts. So I can be completing one, and you can swoop in behind me, pick it up, and maybe deliver it before I get there.
Okay.
And I lose out on any profit from that. So all the contracts are absolutely competitive, and you can even be carrying a couple of contracts at once if you think you can get them both delivered before someone else gets to either one of them.
Cool. And one question that got asked earlier while we were talking a bit about you guys was, is there any attacking in the game, or is attacking in the game kind of grabbing that other person's contract and stealing it and doing it first?
There is a lot of tempo stuff, a lot of jumping ahead of somebody.
Mm-hmm.
There are 3 decks in the game.
Okay.
The green deck is what I'll stop that sentence and take a step back. There are 5 variations of the game, including one where the cards aren't used at all. It's just very simple. It's for 7-year-olds, and you're not playing the cards on each other.
That's the game I'm gonna play.
There we go.
Yeah. That's the redacted version right there.
Yeah.
There's one version that just uses the green deck, and those are the low impact cards, the take an extra action kind of cards, or change a die roll by 1. There is the blue deck, which you add to the green deck when you play the family game, and it has a little more stuff going on. But it's not till you get to the red deck for the Imperial game and add those cards in that you can destroy stations, you can steal stations, you can destroy cargoes. So if you want to play hardhead, then yes, there's a deck for you.
Awesome. That sounds like your style, right?
Yeah.
Saurus. You would play the hardhead.
Yeah, that's
so I'm not a big board game aficionado. I bought Settlers of Catan and never opened the box. And there was I didn't open the box because it said it was 3 to 6 players or something like that, and it was just me and my girlfriend, and we wanted to play a board game together. Is that something that we can do with Star Traders? And I also know that there's a group. I'm a poker dealer, and there's a group of poker players that actually run a game night every Monday night, and they always invite me, and I never go because I'm not a big board game person. But I'm now that I have this, I can bring it and say, hey, I know these guys that made this game. Here, let's play this game, and feel really cool and go. Is that something?
You can do that. I
Awesome.
I promise you will get as much enjoyment out of this game as you have out of Settlers of Catan. That's a joke.
I was like, wait a second, I haven't opened it yet.
It has similarities to Catan. Catan, the base game is 3 to 4 players. If you get an expansion set, then you can play. It will expand to 5 and 6 players.
Okay.
And Star Traders can be played by 2 to 4 players. Obviously, in a game where there is some negotiation, then playing it 2-player, you'll lose a little bit of that aspect. But it definitely is playable as 2 players. I've done a lot of 2-player gaming, and it's a little shorter game since you only have 2 players, and it's still fun. They're all fun.
Nice. Yeah, because I think that's probably where I'll get the most play out of it is just hanging out at home on a weekend night and just playing the game, and then I can also bring it into that big game night with all my friends, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, Kickstarter in general is a fairly new type of funding platform that's just sort of started to grow in popularity over the last, let's say, 5 years. What was the reason that, or was there a particular reason that you have gone with this platform in general, or even more specifically with Kickstarter over Indiegogo or any of the other ones that are out there? And as a sort of follow-up on that, what has been the most challenging aspect of setting up the campaign so far?
Setting up the Kickstarter campaign?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. All the marketing involved. And seriously, just getting the videos done, getting reviews in place, and we're just now, we're gonna have 2 more reviews posting today. Getting the reviews in place, getting people aware of it. Kickstarter, something I hadn't really been aware of. Kickstarter isn't really a way to let people know about your game.
Yeah,
Kickstarter is an avenue, once people know about your game, to have access to your game. So
100%.
you don't throw it up on Kickstarter and hope that the whole world
discovered.
know this come. And that has been a learning process. We should have done more groundwork to get this thing ready. It's frankly, and this is me selling the game, but it's also true. Over 95% of the people who play the game and give us feedback love it. And if we had it into the hands of reviewers, into the hands of the opinion makers ahead of time, I think we would be well past our initial funding goal and into the goals. But it isn't, and that's the biggest challenge.
Yeah. This is going on with you guys were on the CIG community stream not just probably not long last night, hours ago. And you guys discussed some new pledge levels and things like that. Do you want to share them with the people that are here in case they missed that, or if there's any new people that didn't see the stream last night?
Or even some of the pledge levels that stand out. And I'll pull them up here on the screen here for everybody to see as well.
Go ahead. Sure. All right. Well, so CIG and Ben have been very kind to us. So we just now are starting to release some rewards that are geared towards Star Citizen fans. And one of them is for $10. CIG is allowing me to create custom blueprints for a special variation of the Avenger. And so at $10, we have called the blueprints. And it's going to be a pack with some art in it. With some of you know that Chris Roberts has been made into the Maverick. Actually, Chris and Sandy both, because we do both a male and female version of each of our personalities. And I'm going to do the blueprints for that. Also, we're going to do a ship deed, kind of similar to the ones you guys saw at. Yes, was that PAX South or was it?
That was Gamescom, I believe. When they
Gamescom, okay.
Yeah, I was over in Europe.
Yeah, so some of you may know that I created the ship deeds that were given out at Gamescom. I'm going to create one of those for what the ship's called the Lucky Lou. It's the Maverick ship, and it's a variation of the Avenger. I'm also going to create background screen, desktop backgrounds, mobile backgrounds, a avatar for the forum, as well as a signature. So yeah, that's included in the $10 pledge level. So that's for people who want to support us but aren't interested in board games.
Right.
And then also anyone above that will receive that as well. So anyone who pledges more than $10. We also have what we're really excited about is for $40, we will donate a game to a good cause. We're thinking Ronald McDonald. Ronald McDonald, I'm sorry.
Yeah. The first name's right. The first name's right. Sorry. Some Ronald guy.
All these presidential debates.
Ronald guy.
Yeah. Ronald Reagan's house. That's a different house. But yeah, so the Ronald McDonald house, that's one of the ones we're thinking of doing. And so yeah, for $40, you can donate a game to people who at their at the place they are at in their lives, they could really use something that would allow them to kind of
a distraction.
Yeah, a distraction. Yeah. So we're very excited about that idea. We hope that people, pledge that one because we would really like to help some people out. And it's a good way to show your support, even if you don't want a game. And if you want a game, you can always add that on for $40 to any other pledge level just to help out
cool.
at cause. So Yeah.
And then we're donating $10 of that ourselves by pulling it down from the $50 level to the $40 level. In addition to that, we've issued a challenge to all Star Citizen players, and that is there is an unnamed world in the game still, and if Star Citizens want that world to be named, all the worlds are named after authors, science fiction authors. There is a science fiction author named Adam C. Roberts, who, among other things, writes about virtual realities in one of his books. We will name a world Roberts if there are at least 500 Star Citizen backers, who are also our backers, or at least $15,000 in pledges from Star Citizen backers. And the way you can mark a Star Citizen pledge is by adding a dime to it.
Okay.
So you go in, you add you pledge, you add a dime to the total. We know that that's a Star Citizen pledge.
Gotcha.
Very
and
cool.
Right now we're at about 80 pledges out of that 500. We're close to $5,000 out of the 15,000, and that's just been since this time yesterday. So,
well, I have to add a dime to mine.
Yeah, I'm doing that
81.
right. I'm making it right now. There we go.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people that probably haven't added their dime yet.
Yes.
So
that may have backed earlier or whatever. So that's a good
dime
thing
in
to mention. Yeah.
one other small thing to say, and that is those Avenger blueprints. We're doing the special set. We're doing all the add-ons that Ryan mentioned, but because we are doing that, we are also handing those back over to Cloud Imperium, and anyone who wants just the 2 or 3 pages of regular Avenger blueprints will be getting those shortly.
Yeah, it'll be a different set of blueprints. It'll be the Avenger blueprints, just the base blueprints. We're doing a special set just for us, so they are different. But that way people don't complain about us, doing something that no one else gets. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, it's our way of supporting SIG for supporting us.
Yes.
So.
And now that I know this is the first time I've heard about the Lucky Lou Avenger, is there anything that you guys are allowed to talk about this ship? Because I know for me, it's like now I'm definitely intrigued about this, and I think a lot of the people watching are definitely intrigued as well. But if you can't, that's okay. But if you can, it would be very awesome.
About how it is different?
Yes.
We haven't done it yet.
Okay.
So, to the extent that it's different, and we'll work this out with Ben and the folks at Cloud Imperium. To the extent that it's different, it probably will have a little more carrying capacity, since it's designed as a ship to carry cargoes and Star Traders. The weaponry may be different. It may be more amusing. It may not.
Yeah.
One of the things that can get you is pigs in space. The cards, the Trader's Luck cards, are mostly reflect science fiction movies or TV. So pigs in space is science fiction Muppet style. I have. This isn't a guarantee. It's a possibility. I've considered. Replacing one of the weapons on the Avenger with pig stickers, for that purpose. Something else I just realized that we hadn't mentioned. We said that the Maverick in the game, the Gambler, will be reflected by, inspired by Chris for the male figure, by Sandy Gardner for the female figure, and that will be both in the play card in the game, the play mat in the game. And it will be in the book that we're issuing along with this. But there are also a couple of cards in the game, a couple of Trader's Luck cards that mention the Vandal Kingship, and one that mentions a Kilrathi Drothy.
Oh, very awesome.
Awesome.
So there's some integration
odds
happening, even if it's just a little bit there.
But for that, you have to get the game.
Right, right. Well, I got it. It's on its way. Now, so, is there... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. You're good.
Okay, I was going to say, is there something you'd like to do, jumping back sort of to jump point, with the jump point that you haven't had time or permission to do yet? Is there something that you're sort of waiting on the back burner to sort of be able to throw in there?
I have the easy answer.
Yep.
I want to show Nyx. Nyx is not quite ready to be shown, but I'm going to love it when we get Nyx in there.
I'm definitely feeling you on that. I'm very, very, very excited for Nyx.
And that's the thing at the top of my list. It's nice, but it's not quite ready. And with the work in progress, we do complete things, not partial things.
Mm-hmm. That's fair enough.
Is there anything that you would like to see in Jump Point that we haven't seen besides Nyx? Either one of you?
I always love the original. Well, not the original. There was like 5 or 6 only of the system posts, the posts about each system, that had that art of the planets with the green band. And then when it got really cold, there was only like 5 or 6 systems that had that art. And I thought that would be so cool to have a collection of all of those for every system.
All the different systems,
yeah. That's something that, I don't know, it just caught my eye in the jump points that I
I'm gonna be able to work on this one, because it's like, especially as when the game isn't completed or whatever, if like for me, maybe I'll have a favorite system I like inhabiting, or Twerk likes his favorite system or whatever, and that's something that we could get and frame and put on our walls, or even if it's just like you have that different imagery for everything. It allows you
to visualize the system really well.
Right.
Yeah.
I really like that particular piece of art myself. Art, not diagram, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
What we realized is that we were still changing the systems enough that we could put it in there, but comes time for the system to release, it was going to be wrong.
Yeah.
And so I like the art. It's art. In fact, I wasn't the one who did those. It was Caitlin up at Behavior did those.
Okay.
But I have the art available. I could construct it for systems, and as soon as we have the systems nailed down enough that we can start doing that again, we'll start doing that again. It's
awesome.
It's everything that you said.
Yeah, for me, it's one of the big things that I would like to see is, you're going to give me the same answer because things aren't final or nailed down, are more of the statistics of like equipment or things like that specifically that are coming out. So as we see more guns and more things like that, more of the almost the number side of things, but maybe more. I don't really know how to say it, but just sort of the statistics on weapons or equipment and things like that. Now, I know that right now everything is always changing, and it's always a balancing thing and everything, so it would be kind of hard to put that in there.
It's always changing, and in particular with the equipment and ship weapons and ship stats and so forth. We have gone through a changeover from one way of expressing the stats to another. And until we have that nailed down, there wasn't much point in giving stats, because we'd be doing all sorts of footnotes about this is the old system, this is the new system, this is the old, but it's changed a little bit, and we just stopped running the stats. If you notice in the last manual, there were no ship stats.
Yeah, none.
But there's a big hole there for them, and we'll get them back in there.
Yeah.
I can tell you that in InDesign, those stats are sitting right off the edge of the page. We'll pick them up.
Yeah, when they're ready to be put in there.
In when we can.
Definitely.
But we're talking about doing another version of the manual now that we're up to 2.2 and approaching 2.3. And it would be nice, no guarantee again, but it would be nice if we could get more specific stats in there.
Right.
And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just said, and we're getting closer on it.
Oh, okay. And I just want to I was just going to thank you guys for doing the manuals. I go back to those pretty often. They're really helpful, super detailed. I'm sure they require lots of effort and time to put together. So I'm looking forward to the next one, and thank you for doing that. But the last, I guess not the last question, but there's one question on Jump Point from one of the viewers in the chat, Bite Marks, and he asked, have the Jump Point Year 2 books shipped yet?
No.
They're getting close, right?
They are getting closer.
Closer.
They are. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
They have not shipped yet.
Okay. So keep an eye out.
Yes.
With Jump Point,
you will know it when they ship.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they'll make sure it's very clear. With Jump Point, now this is something that we're getting and we're seeing the processes of everything going on with Star Citizen as it's being made. But do you know if there's a plan to continue the Jump Point after Star Citizen has been released and after Squadron 42 has been released?
We haven't discussed that much. I'd like to. I like doing it. Jump Point is the most direct contact I've had with a team and with a player base ever. I get to sit down. I get to go to people and say, "Talk to me about this game that I like," and they have to talk to me. And so I get the information. We get it put into Jump Point, and then we get immediate feedback from the players and the backers on what they like, what they didn't like, what other things they want to see, and generally that sort of turnaround happens once or twice a year, and it's usually 3 to 6 months delayed. And so being able to be this close to it and this much in contact with it and delivering something that people enjoy is it's great.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty awesome. I can imagine. Getting back to some questions about Star Traders now, there's been a lot of questions in the chat. After you get successfully funded, do you have any plans for the game post Kickstarter?
Other than actually getting it made?
Yeah, other than getting it made, like maybe expansion packs or anything like that in the future.
If it succeeds, you had asked what we might. I think you asked what we might do if it doesn't fund.
No, I'm asking if it. We're assuming that it does.
Kickstarter was the question. Part of it is that with all of these worlds named after science fiction authors, and all of the cargoes coming off the worlds have to do with what the author wrote about. So Wells exports time machines, and Verne exports Jules Verne exports Nautilus submarines. So every world is named after a science fiction author, exports something particular to that author. The cards are full of references to things like the Wing Commander ships, the Star Citizen ships. All of the Avoid a Calamity are things like the security officer next to you is wearing a red shirt, so you avoid a calamity. A super powerful alien takes your cue, so you avoid a calamity. They are full of stuff that a major company would probably shy away from before publishing. And I don't want to take this game to a major publisher and have them say, sure, we'll publish it, but we're going to change it completely. So I'd like to keep it myself. My wife is shuddering as I say that. She just as soon someone else be dealing with making this game. But there are some possibilities for expansion packs, expansion decks, and there are some possibilities for similar games. I'd like to do bazaar traders with the Mideastern bazaars, and Ryan and Martha both tell me that's an awful name.
The bazaar traders.
Do you feel that you don't want to reach out to a publisher maybe because of how the Star Citizen project and how you've been a part of that and seeing probably how refreshing it is, how Star Citizen has gone?
It tells me it's possible.
Yeah.
And that is a very big thing. Whether it is the best thing for a small-time game, I'm not sure. And then some of it will depend on how well received the game is once we actually get it out there.
Awesome.
Now, you were involved with the Star Citizen economy. I call it the economy game, but you, it's an economy simulation that we heard about a while back, and I actually have some photos here. Did that spur your excitement to bring back Star Traders and start working on that, or was this something you were already working on? And while you're talking about that, I'm going to bring up some pictures here of the economy.
Okay, I'll look over and so I won't be looking at you for a minute while I see what you pull up there. It didn't. They were sort of parallel.
Okay.
There is this similarity, and that is that the ships are the same in both games. We had these ships from when the game was first created back in 1987, and so when I needed ships for the economy game, we used the same little plastic ships that we're using in Star Traders. And probably some of how the economy game works is a reflection of what I did in Star Traders. But they were parallel. It was important that I keep the two separate in terms of game development, among other things. So Star Traders, the sense in Star Traders is very much fun, tongue-in-cheek. The sense in Star Citizen, definitely fun, but it's a different kind of fun. It's a more immersive and go out and blow things up or go out and make a living kind of fun. And there was one other thing I was going to mention there that it went out of my head completely. I will remember.
It's okay. Okay.
How long did you guys do that economy sim for? And was it like going to work every day and kind of playing a board game and having fun?
Oh yeah.
Or was it like pretty intense at times?
Actually, the pictures you're seeing there show lots of others or several other people playing the game.
Yeah.
I could sort of focus on it, but they couldn't. And they were available like after work once a week. And so there was a fair amount of prep work as I was designing it leading up to the first few playtests. But once we were actually into playtest, we'd run a session. I would go back to we'd finish the session. I'd go back to my office and analyze what had happened and revise what the rules were. But that just took me a few hours per week, and then there really wasn't anything for me to do on it until we could get back together and play again. So the ramp up was about half time for a few weeks, and after that it was maybe 20% time for several more weeks.
Cool. And how much of an impact do you think that had on the current economy that might be being created as we speak?
It's hard to say. A lot of the current economy is driven by Tony, and Tony, in fact, came on while we were doing the economy game. So he wasn't as involved in that. And where Tony is coming at the economy is more from the opposite end of where I was coming from. He's more, don't let me put words in his mouth, so he may be on your next episode to correct me. But he's coming at more from what works for ships, and I was coming at it more from what is a basic economy that can drive the ships.
Gotcha.
And so coming from that direction, it made more sense to do what he was doing. In fact, that's why we're not doing the economy game, the economy simulation at this point, is that it didn't make a lot of sense to try to approach that from two different sides. And I mean, you do that and you get this rather than this. And so we were able to draw several useful conclusions. One thing I found out is that people don't like to risk their ships. we didn't realize how much of
LTI is a big deal.
How much risk aversion there was, but they would get out there and say, "Okay, go through here. There's pirates here. I want to see how that goes." And they said, "No,
no, I don't wanna. I don't wanna."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at one time I had to make rules to force them to go through pirate areas.
Yeah.
And Ryan was playing some of it. And
I played along with the designers and stuff, and oh yeah, we would do everything we could to avoid combat because
I was pretty. It may be that the combat
was a little aggressive. We kept telling them this, but it's more realistic. I said, no. In a video game, it kind of needs to be a little bit like cannon fodder. I mean, literally, it was a 50-50 chance that we would die if we went to combat.
It wasn't quite that bad.
I felt like it.
Now, I have a question here from Foible, and it sort of ties into a question that I want to ask. Especially since you're working on a digital property like Star Citizen, that's video games, and now you have physical property, Star Traders. Is there any plans, or is this something you've even looked into, where, and he asks if there's going to be any sort of version of Star Traders for mobile devices, but you could go even further than that and say that, is there any plans to maybe make this into a digital copy of a game? Because I know that's becoming more and more popular as we go. We have Tabletop Simulator and things like that. Is that something that you've looked into or even thought about yet?
I will give you the answer that I give Ryan when he brings it up, which he doesn't do more than about once a month now.
Yeah.
And that is, let's get the board game out before we worry about anything else.
Right.
We've got 4 days to get this thing funded, and we need to make that happen before we worry about anything else.
So if you want Star Traders on iOS, let's get this thing funded.
Yeah. Let's
Actually,
get funded first.
We did agree for a really, really high stretch goal to include an app, but we're nowhere near that right now. So
Fair enough. Now, Mo Rays asks if the game is going to be available in other languages. I know that for us, a lot of my community is in Europe, in Germany, and Switzerland, Sweden, stuff like that, where English isn't necessarily language number one. So is that going to be something that people can see, or is it going to be primarily in English and then possibly adapted later on down the road?
One of folks who are focused on computer games are probably not as aware of this, but there has been a board game renaissance over the last 10 years, 15 years. I can say things pro and con about Settlers of Catan, but Catan pretty much started that. At least in the U.S. I think it was happening in Europe already. But with that renaissance, there's been a great deal more board games, and there's been a great deal more of translating of board games and that type of thing. And there is a whole part of the industry that takes a game and licenses the right to translate it into other languages. So Star Traders is successful. It will almost certainly see translation. I'm not into every possible language, but into more than English.
Right.
So that's part of the answer. The other part of the answer is the same thing with the electronic version, that it is taking everything we have to get this thing out in English, and until we can get the English done, we haven't the breadth to consider the translation part of it.
Gotcha.
But we hear you when you ask for translations.
Yeah. And I have one last question here for you guys. We took a look at the 1987 version of Star Traders. And Ryan, we know that you're doing a lot of the artwork on the new one here. So what was it like to sort of look at something that was sort of done previously to you, and to go in there and upgrade it? What has that been like for you? And I'll bring up some images of the old Star Traders. This was a Peter Jackson.
Steve Jackson.
Steve Steve Jackson, Peter J. You know, the Jackson guy. That's like the Ronald guy, right?
Now we both did it.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a game that came out in 1987, so art styles and techniques and technology have definitely improved and have changed over the years. And I mean, David, I've worked with David for many years now, and he's very much a fan of my artwork. So he was happy to have me take a new pass at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, I mean, it was exciting. I love the retro feel of the game. I mean, it's very updated, but there's, the rockets, there's just something about it. The references to the original sci-fi authors and stuff give it that very cool sort of Flash Gordon, feel to the game that I think it makes it charming. So when I did the graphics for it, I wanted to capture that that kind of serial radio sci-fi style of the old, rocket ship and stuff in the new look of the game, but still make it look updated and pleasing, visually pleasing. We've actually kind of improved the personality art recently as we've started bringing people into those personalities like Chris and Sandy. So I might need to kind of balance the art a little bit, because I was going more for a comic book style, and now I'm trying to meet them together a little bit more, because I was trying to do something that I think people would like more, and also that I knew that Chris and Sandy would go for.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yes. What about you? How'd you feel about it?
I'm happy with everything I've seen. If I didn't like it, I made him change it. So.
That is
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I like that it still looks similar to the old game, but it's an updated version for 2016. It looks good. I like it a lot. There was one other question that a lot of people actually asked in the chat. Do you think we might see Star Traders? I mean, I know you've been probably talking to the guys at CIG quite a bit. Maybe see Star Traders as like a in-game in some way. Like, for example, the Starfarer has some blanket that was apparently it was like Christmas gift wrapping one day, and they said, we're going to make a blanket out of this. Like, do you think maybe we can possibly see Star Traders sitting on a desk? Yeah, sitting on a desk in game, maybe. I think a lot of people were kind of like, yeah, we're saying that in the chat I saw, so that'd be cool.
Sure, that's a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're in favor of it.
Have it in there, yeah. I mean, I don't imagine it would be a very difficult asset to make, to even just have the box of Star Traders in there. So maybe we'll have to bring it up to CIG.
Be a little Easter egg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start
a petition on the forums.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I want to say that both
Reddit
myself
posts
and
created.
Twerk17 have pledged at the $50 level. And we want to know, before we let you go here, first off, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. It's been more than a pleasure to speak to you both. Not only here, but in real life. We all were together at PAX South, and that was really, really exciting for, I know, myself and Twerk17. But before you go here, do you have any parting words for anybody, any would-be or potential backers of Star Traders, and anything else that you would like to bring up before we move on to the rest of our podcast here?
Well, he didn't warn us he was going to say that. So, I mean, I am hesitating on the verge of just a blatant go, buy it, pledge. It's seriously, and I say seriously, it's a fun game. If you like board games at all, you're almost certain to like this. And it's out there. We hope to make it happen. There will be some more reviews up if you want somebody else besides me to tell you it's fun.
Yeah, that's the thing is, we've gone to about 3 conventions. We've gone to a lot of local events and stuff, and pretty much, I mean, it's been overwhelming the amount of people who have played it who just say they love it. Which, for board games, if you've played board games, you know that not every board game appeals to everybody. So to have 95% of the people say they love it is incredible. And I knew when David brought this out one time when we got together for a game night, and he brought this out, said, "Hey, want to see a game I designed?" I was shocked at just how good it was, and we've tweaked it since then. I mean, we've made improvements, and it is a fun game. Been playing it for 2 years, and I still enjoy playing it.
Nice.
Which is really important. Yeah.
Yeah.
The scroll there, I see that you just recently passed the endorsement from Isaac Asimov himself, which is a real life thing. He endorsed the game and when it had his name on it back in 1987, and what he says still applies.
Nice.
Very awesome. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us today on Redacted. It was a pleasure to have you on, and look forward to playing it in the future. And if we ever run into you guys at another convention, or if you're ever up in Canada or anything like that, I hope to actually be able to sit down and play with you guys.
Yes.
And I look forward to it showing up. Like I said, guys, there is 4 days left to go. There's $34,601 as of right now of their 50,000 goal, and I truly believe that we can help them hit that goal. So definitely go check them out! !Star Traders in chat. And yeah, I will let you guys go on with the rest of your day, and we're gonna move on here. But thank you again, guys.
Source,
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Ben said last night that if we reached 42,000 by Sunday,
by the time we start our live stream at 2 o'clock Sunday Central,
he will give away his Wave 3 concept ships to somebody on our live stream.
Oh, to somebody's. I think.
Somebody's, okay.
Yeah, somebody's. Yeah, one person gets all of them.
Sure. Oh, no. I don't think he's going to give them all at once, but he's going to start giving them away. So help us get to 42,000, and then you guys will be able to have a chance to get some really, really cool ships.
Yeah, Wave 3 concepts.
Yep.
And remember,
thank Ben for his generosity.
There's some Star Citizen specific rewards in there as well, guys. So even if you are interested in Star Citizen or something like that, that is a way to get your hands on those things. So thanks again, guys, and we will talk soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
you
you
very much. Take care.
Thank you.
Twerk17, how have you been?
What's up, man?
Okay,
I'm good.
I'm gonna have to do this now. I'm just editing. Oh my god, is it gonna work? It looks like it worked. I don't even have to do anything.
Goodness,
it's just fixed. What have you? That was super awesome. First of all,
that was really fun.
That was that went really well, and I do wish them all of their best. Okay, it didn't work. It just changed. So while I'm fixing this, but I do wish them all their luck on that. And like I said, guys, we both personally made pledges as well towards that. And I think it'll be awesome for something that I could potentially anyways, play on stream. With especially now that I have this this setup. Going on,
and like for me, bringing it to that game night, I think would be really cool. But the thing is that's the one cool thing about that $40 pledge is if you're not into board games, like I'm not a big board game guy. I could have went with the $40 pledge, but I decided that maybe I would like to enjoy this game. It actually looked really cool. You guys can just go to the $40 pledge and just donate $40. You guys have been so generous in so many situations for us for charity. This is just another one of those situations that not only are you putting something to a good cause at Ronald McDonald House, but you're helping out two really, really awesome guys, two guys that help make the game that you're a super fan of happen, right? And making one of their dreams happen. You know what I mean? So it's not a charity thing, but you can tell that they're really passionate about this game, and it's something that they're excited about, and it's $40.
Yeah.
That's a night out. Don't go out one night and pick the game up.
And the things with the Lucky Lou blue. Like when I heard that, I don't know if you saw, I was like, all right. I don't that's included in all those pledges above the $10 pledge. So even if at the $10 pledge, I think having those cool things that are Star Citizen related, I know a lot of people like to get those things. Clifford, so very cool. And I know Clifford is already back there. But anyways, let's jump into what have you been up to this week. And actually before that, I just want to say I had some messages of some people asking me where BoredGamer is. He is away right now. Not entirely sure, but we hope everything is okay with him.
Yeah, he takes care of family and stuff like that. So something may have
he's
come
got
up.
his family, so
No big
that
deal.
is what happened with him. It's not a big deal, and he will be back next week. But Twerk, what have you been up to this past week?
I was busy firing BoredGamer from Redacted. No, just kidding. No, I've been really busy playing 2.3 and trying to get. I'm still. I just started using Premiere, so I'm still new to making YouTube videos. Not only that, but now I'm completely new to Premiere as well. So it takes me a lot of time. I have to Google things on how to, just simple things like how to make a title or how to put text on screen, or
always Googling things.
Yeah, so like always Googling things, and it takes a lot of time. So I made a couple of YouTube videos that I'm actually really proud of. The one in particular was I made a video of the shotgun and the sniper together. And I'm really, really proud of that video. I like it a lot. So you can just, go to my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. But yeah, I mean, that's what I've been doing. I've been playing a lot of 2.3, still making my way through XCOM. I had some ridiculous bug where I completed the mission, but it said I failed it. But because I was playing an Iron Man, it didn't allow me to restart the mission, which was really sad. So somebody was asking for the link in the chat.
So I just put it. I beat you to it.
Oh, you beat me
friend.
to it. Okay, cool. You're too fast for me.
Yeah. Also, you've been working on a lot of articles, right?
Yes. Oh,
like a shit ton, a whole bunch of articles.
Yeah. So I just wrote an article on the shotgun in particular, and that was tough because that one we had to look through the XMLs, because I try to give you the stats as best as possible, and one of the stats that it made no sense to me was the shotgun said its damage was 4 damage per round.
It was single kills, man. There's no way it was.
Yeah, like there's no way you one shot kill somebody with it. So it made no sense that 4 was it, because other weapons were much higher than that and took quite a few shots to kill somebody. So, or were actually around that range and took quite a few shots to kill somebody. So then I reached out to I never say his name right. Malaglos, or yeah, and because he has the XML files up that everyone's pretty much looking at the moment. Nubifire actually reached out to him for me, and he found a little line of text in the XML that said pellets, and apparently there's 8 pellets in that shotgun. So even though it's an electric shotgun, it has pellets.
Well, yeah, from what it looks like, the shotgun shoots out pellets, and then they're electrified, and there's electricity that runs in between each pellet, so that's how that works, I think.
You know what? Yeah.
So I think it's ballistic and energy damage, even though I think right now they're only expressed as one, but I think that it's going to be both. It's
just physical damage at the moment, but I think in the future it'll change once they get that stuff going. But yeah, so apparently there's 8 pellets, so it's actually 32 damage per shot, which made like a whole lot more sense.
32 damage to the face is not a good time for anybody.
Nope. Pretty much ends your day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I've been playing a lot with that, just trying to get the weapons and having a good time. And what about you, man?
So you can kind of see it here. We got.
While you're talking, I'll put that link in the chat.
Yeah, I got the second chair in here. I got my capture card installed.
Nice.
We're all ready to go. So I've been doing that. I've been working on a little bit of the back end stuff on the website. But yeah, just sort of prepping my office and getting it ready for guests to start coming over. I think I'm gonna start having people over this weekend, which is pretty cool. I been firing on all cylinders here for the last little while. So yeah, just working on that stuff, getting all of that ready, playing a lot of 2.3, trying to get more and more people involved. I even jumped into the public and we were playing. There was a whole group of us that had basically taken over Korea, and we had gotten to this thing like every time we would run into each other, instead of shooting, it'd be like, all right, you got to crouch, and that's how we'll know right away.
Yeah.
And with 2.2, if you remember, you had the latency issues, which is one thing, but you had the whole other issue where people were invisible to you. So you would go and you'd be like, I'm crouching, do you see me? And it's like, I don't even see you. And you could like go right up to them and be like, oh yeah, I can't even see you right now. But all in all, it's been super fun. I'm glad that they did hit those, fix a lot of those latency issues. But yeah, that's sort of what I've been working on. Everything's coming together. It's very cool in here. I feel like I feel like, and I was telling you this earlier. I feel like I need like a little social media assistant or something that sits here and just types away in the background while I'm doing stuff.
It's my secretary.
Yeah, and just
pass that
just
on to my secretary.
Little secretary area. But
now, have you played A yet?
No, I downloaded A, and I had the full intention of coming online, and I apologize to anybody who was expecting me to come online last night, but because I was up so early the day before, I was up at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
You were, yes.
When I finally got to sleep, I slept I woke up, and my alarm was still going off. I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning, and my alarm was still going off for midnight. I didn't even notice it. Like, that's how I was just... Yeah, I've just, like I said, I've been firing on all cylinders lately, so it's, so I apologize. We will be having midnight streams again starting tonight.
Nice. Now,
but yeah, and I've been playing Division.
I was just going to kind of talk to you about it, and talk to everybody about it. It's definitely a big change from 2.2, whereas 2.2 our frame rates were pretty good, right? But there was lots of weird issues.
Well, there was the latency issues were the big ones,
latency.
Right?
Then when they dropped 2.3, which what day did we get 2.3? It's escaping me right now.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember.
I think it might have been a Friday.
Thursday
I think it was
or
a Friday.
Something like
Thursday
that.
or Friday last week.
Yeah, you know what? I think it was the Friday because then I was expecting maybe a patch, and then we didn't get one over the weekend, and then we didn't get one on Monday either, and I was like, that's a little odd. So yeah, I think it was Friday as well.
Because it usually goes out on a Thursday. I think that's why. And yeah, it might be Friday for some and Saturday for others.
Yeah.
But depending on where you live, obviously. But the 2.3 drop, while it had some really cool features like the new shotgun and the new shotgun, the sniper, and obviously these locations and things like that in yellow, which are really cool, as well as the Starfare and the Gian Scout flying. We'll get into everything kind of in more detail as we go on, but it was extremely unstable. Extremely unstable. Losing connection constantly, and then it was actually difficult to get back in. It would there was error codes trying to get in to just load the game up. Now 2.3a has been a lot better with that. It's smoother getting in, but now once you do get in, there's a little issue right now where if you go to any of those locations where the guns are, it will constantly spawn pirates until there's hundreds of them. Like, it won't stop.
Yeah,
it'll just keep going, and then. But what's amazing is how stable the server is.
Even while it's
your FPS tanks, I had one crash today. That's it, and I don't think it was related to anything like that. It was just, sometimes your sound freezes and it just freezes, holds you there. That's the only crash that I had.
Okay.
The entire day, I played for 4 hours or so.
That's very good to hear.
Yeah, so that part is really stable. But what tends to happen with these patches is it's more stable and our FPS is low, or it's less stable and our FPS is high. And me personally, I'll take the low FPS and the high stability because I'm still able to take part in the gameplay that they want us to test, the number one, and that they wanted to share with us. So the shotgun and the sniper, I really
Are they
enjoy.
easier to find now? Because in the first iteration of 2.3, even though I knew exactly where they were, and we have an article up on Redacted.tv. Actually, I can bring this up for
that's
people
already
here.
out of date. We have to make another one.
We have to make another one, but I'm going to show it anyway. So it was up there, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go in there, and we have the guide and everything. And I even lined up, there's some pictures in here that I lined up this picture exactly where this light is and exactly all these things, and I couldn't see anything for the life of me, and I spent a couple hours, and that would be if it didn't crash when I got there. And so now you're saying it's a lot easier to find that stuff. We just have billions of pirates to deal with.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what the thing is they don't really attack you. If you take one of the things that I suggested, and this actually came from BoredGamer, was to take a saber, and they don't really even attack you. It's pretty sweet. So what happens now is This is actually all coming from Luke_CIG or Luke Presley, who popped in my chat the first time that I played 2.3, I believe, and he was kind of discussing, because it was so difficult to find them, he was asking questions and asking for feedback for myself in the chat about what they thought would be a good idea. I personally said, just put the red flashing light there with the beep like they have in all the other things, and that would have been fine. Yes. Yeah. Now, do you remember when you went up to the Replace Me balls, and there was like a green hue to them?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honestly, I don't remember that, but.
Okay, well, there was always this green hue. I don't remember that, but I gotta spam these Replace Me balls.
Yeah.
There was a green hue around them. So what was actually behind those Replace Me balls, or what those Replace Me balls actually probably were the boxes that the guns are held in. And there's these green lights on either side of them, and they're bright. And there's 4 of them at each location. So 7,000 meters from each location, you can see this green light. So that's what
excellent. So it's the green light that's similar to on top of the comm rays when the comm rays are on?
No. It's different from anything else.
Okay.
Once you see it for the first time, you'll be able to see it quite easily. There's a really easy one to see. As soon as you pop into Yella from Crusader, turn right. There's a huge asteroid there. It's below that asteroid, so just fly below the kind of asteroid belt.
Yeah.
Fly towards that, and all of a sudden you'll just see it.
Oh, nice.
And it'll be simple. It's this light kind of green. It's kind of like a muddy green color.
Okay,
but
cool.
Yeah, and it's really cool. So you have the option to get all the guns, not just the rare ones. So sometimes
the
it's luck of the draw.
The P4AR.
Ballistic rifle too. Yeah. So sometimes you get really bad luck. I had really bad luck twice today. Okay. There's 3 unlocked boxes and 1 locked box, which I don't know what that'll be. Maybe there's some Easter egg unlocked.
Maybe there's a
now.
mission or something, or
yeah, that we don't know about yet. But there's 3 unlocked, 1 locked, and there's twice.
Is there always the pirate issue? Is that 100%?
No.
Okay.
Not 100%. So sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. I'm not sure what the trigger is. I think you have to be close to the spawn area for them, and sometimes sometimes the actual spawn area for the guns is a little bit far away from the spawn area of the pirates, which is kind of nice.
Right.
So sometimes you don't have to deal with it, but sometimes you get unlucky, and I had the P4AR in all 3 containers twice. So you spend all the time getting it, and then you have a gun that you've used 1,000 times, and you're like, damn it. But I wonder if they do that on purpose, where the rarer guns pop up more rare. Right?
Possibly.
So
something that else is now, that's just with the new weapons that are in game. Let's talk about the new ships. We have the Xi'an Cartual Scout that's now flyable. And I know for a lot of people, it's really exciting. It's cool, even though it doesn't really necessarily live up to what it was supposed to be doing yet. Like, it sort of handles like a Hornet. And I know the thrusters go a little weird, but it is like the most alien ship, in my opinion. Even more than the Vandal ships. It just feels alien. And that Slave 1 style, I don't know, it's just really cool.
I think what's exciting about it is it's the first non-Vandal alien ship, right? Which is really cool. Because we've seen so much Vandal art for so long that it's just kind of...
Yeah, Vandal is very like H.R. Geiger style, and this is almost like a Gundam anime style, but realistic, and I don't know, it's really cool.
Transformers, like all in the, you know. But the thing about the Vandal ships was you had the Scout, which was really, or not the Scout, the Scythe, which was really cool. But then they came out with the Glaive, which also cool, but it's just
very similar. Kind of it's just sort of
Scout
mirrored
with an extra wing, right?
Right.
So not that exciting. And then obviously we have the Blade, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is definitely different. Which is, it's a more refreshing concept of Vandal ships, I think. But I think it was really exciting to get something different, so you can kind of start getting a feel for the style of the Xi'an, because we don't know much about them, right? So this is our first kind of taste of Xi'an anything. So it's cool. There's if you can really look at it and see when you take off when you're flying, there's little text right next to. Everyone in my chat calls them, boobs or something like that. On the
yeah, the way
flying.
that you fly them is different from every other ship as well.
Yeah, and you could tell they kind of use the same assets. The way you move the like your hand is sort of the way you move a joystick, and then the way you move the throttle isn't much different either. They just kind of like open the hand, so it probably didn't take much work to make those changes, which is cool because it's still super unique and different looking. But definitely in patch 2.3a, it's better. The Scout, it flies a lot better. It's quite nimble and stuff like.
What do you think it's going to be used mostly for? It's definitely not a combat ship. And unfortunately, right now, all we really have in the game is combat. So it's kind of, I know a lot of people sort of compare it to a Hornet or whatever, even though they're two different ships. It's like comparing a Jeep to a Ferrari. Like they're two different things, even though they both have wheels and an engine. So when do you think we're going to start to see some uses for some of these ships like that, like the Avenger, like the Aurora, and Freelancer, and all these other things?
Well, for those type of ships, right, like the Freelancer, the Aurora, the Avenger, they just need their game mechanics. Like the Aurora and the Freelancer, they just need trading. They need cargo, and the Avenger really needs bounty
cargo
hunting,
or the bounty
right?
hunting. What would you say is the game mechanic that's needed for the Scout then? Because that's what I've been trying to think of lately, and
multiple
being able to go places fast, right? And
or
scan things.
Yeah, if it's a Scout, it's the first guy in. It's a Scout ship, right? Fast, agile Scout ship. So you would need something like a location to scout first.
Like you would think that it would be hard to detect, right? It would be something that could jump in, jump out, and get whatever information is necessary about that jump as quickly as possible, and maybe something to do with jump points as well. Obviously, we don't have those in yet, but if you remember the Carrack has those arms that come up to stabilize it through a jump point. If you look at the Scout, it's got those points on either end, right? And maybe those could be used for, I don't know. I'm just, this is me, going.
Yeah, we're just going off on a
all
tangent.
vapid, but I'm just trying to think of what makes the Scout stand out other than its physical appearance.
At the moment, I don't think anything, personally. At the moment, nothing. But a lot of what Star Citizen is not about the moment right now.
Right,
it's about what it's going.
But that's
to
what
be, right?
I'm trying to sort of get at is what is it going to be?
Well, obviously, I hope, because it's in part of the lore, is a good racer. Right. I'm really hoping we get get to enjoy that gameplay. But I really do see in an open world, in a universe situation, I see it as like I've been thinking about this situation, which I think would be really cool. Make fun of me and call me a pirate, but this is something that popped in my head and I thought was a really cool thing.
Dirty pirate. Who would be a pirate anyways? Get out of here.
Think about a pirate guy like WTFOSaurus, and he has to go to a system that everybody knows he's a pirate, and it's monitored, right? You're gonna need to have somebody that can get in and get out around all because I think the Comrade gameplay is going to be consistent gameplay in most systems around the universe for Star Citizen, right?
Well, anything that's UEE space.
Yeah. Yes. So if you want to come to that space, you're going to need some friends and a coordinated effort to take down multiple Comrades all at the same time. You guys pull through a system that, maybe it's a faster trade route, or maybe it's a faster way to get to a system that you need to get to help your buddies fight in, but you don't want to have the bounties pop up and have everybody come in and start chasing after you. You have all your buddies pop in, turn off the Comrades all at the same time, and go. And I think like a ship like a Scout would be the ship to kind of pop in and check things out and pop out. It seems like that a Scout ship, exactly what it is. Like think of in like a game like StarCraft, where you send in one unit to kind of reveal the map. That's what I see a Scout being. And I think when we get more Xi'an ships, I think you'll actually probably see what the Scout's role is. right?
Now, yeah, yeah, we'll start to see more of it fleshed out. But it is definitely a very cool ship. The design styles on it are very awesome. The just the feel of the ship in general is very
Yeah.
cool. But talking about Star Citizen ships, there is one that has been put in the hangar that it's okay. I just want to say right now, this is a medium-sized ship, and this is fulfilling all of my fantasies when I was a kid. About okay, so if you remember the game Final Fantasy, the first one, that was probably the game I played. It's up there, playing the most as a single-player game as a kid. And there's these things that you can transport around with an airship. They also had like sea ships and things like that, but the airship, and you travel from a place to another, and later on in Final Fantasy you'd be able to go and it would be another sort of instance or a level where you'd be able to walk around on the spaceship or whatever, but you can never do both at the same time, right? And it's always been, for me, it's like I've always wanted to have that experience, and Star Citizen, that's one of the big things. This is when I say multi-crew ships made me back. This is the reason that multi-crew ships, because you're able to move around in these ships while they're flying around and doing stuff that you really haven't seen in any other game. I actually, while we're talking about this, I'm going to bring up this video. This is BoredGamer's Starfire guided hangar tour, and wow, this ship is big. Wow!
Oh my god, it has 4 floors.
Yeah,
4 floors. And do you know what's really cool about the Starfarer? I don't know if you've noticed, but when you're standing right where Bored is now outside of the ship, you're getting 30 FPS in that hangar, right?
Yeah.
But when you're inside the ship, I have a 144 hertz monitor. I'm getting 115 FPS inside of that ship with all those polygons, all that stuff going on.
Yeah.
115 FPS. It's awesome. So I think this is one
like
of those
a TARDIS.
ships that's,
it's amazing.
And I think what it tells us too, based on that happening, is that it tells us that they're being really efficient when they're creating ships now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This isn't like the Cutlass, like when it popped into the game, the whole game froze. Like,
well,
that's not that many patches ago.
I feel like this is the first ship too that we've seen. Like, yeah, we've seen the Retaliator, we've seen the Freelancer, the Constellation. This is really the first ship that we actually get a sense of. I think the Retaliator is the closest one that's come to this, where you see a ship from the outside and you're like, yeah, that's pretty big or whatever. But when you're actually go inside it, you're like, oh my god, this is amazing.
It's amazing. I got lost today again. I've been through the thing like 50 times. I still got lost. The fourth, the
I have it mapped in my head already.
Floor, I get lost. The engineering floor, I get lost on.
Yeah, but it's just so amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's got my mind racing on what you can do with it, because they, like, even for situations like think about with the Starfarer Gemini. This is just the regular Starfarer, but it has all those seats.
Yeah, all the jump seats when you first come in, where the cargo room is.
Exactly. Like, I just can see a whole crew of guys with their guns ready to go, you know?
Yeah.
So there's just so much gameplay that I think is great here. But for me personally, I backed this game in, I can't even remember, 2013? I backed the game in 2013 with an Aurora. And the reason I backed the game, and I've said this plenty of times, was because I watched the economy video and it was amazing. And when I looked back at the economy video, after I watched the economy video, I started researching Star Citizen, and I looked at the ships that appealed to me, which was the kind of trading ships, right? And this ship stuck out to me from that day forward so much. It was amazing, and it wasn't for sale, and I had no idea how to get it. I was thinking about buying it on the gray market. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know about the anniversary sales yet. So when the anniversary sale came around, that was the first thing I bought. I had to have this, and dude,
yeah, I know
they
it's
outdid themselves.
For me, it's like, okay, if there's a mechanic, like we see the fuel tanks on the back, if there's a mechanic to detach those and attach those to other ships, then as a pirate, flying out in empties without those attached, and going with a Gemini without those attached, and just acquiring them while I'm out in space, will be something I'm very interested in. This ship so far is if you are a fan of Firefly, the interior of this ship very, very much reminds me of. Yep. Even the way that the cargo room is set up with the rafters around the side feel very much like the Serenity, and
they have the kitchen and the dining table that they were always at,
and the separate quarters for everybody and everything, and you have the refueling gateway, which I like to call my EVA landing pad, and. It's so much. It looks so good. I really like the color choices they went with as well. Yeah. And everything just seems to work so well for this ship. I'm looking really looking forward to seeing
trying
this
not to. Are you trying not to buy it right now?
No, not necessarily. I'll probably pick up a Gemini. Now I will be giving away a Gemini with LTI when 2.3 goes to live.
Damn, you trumped me, man. I'm giving away a regular Starfarer when 2.3 goes live.
Well, there you go.
That's two awesome ships.
That's two awesome opportunities to win some badass ships. But yeah, it's it is just like you said. It feels so large inside, and it's like the crew capacity is only like 7. You know, but it could fit like so many people running around and doing stuff, and I'm really like this is the kind of stuff I'm looking forward to when people are like, oh, what is the biggest mechanic you're looking forward to in game? This is why boarding is so crazy to me, because you're gonna come across this is a medium ship.
Choke points.
Yeah,
there's so many choke points too. It seems like this could a ship that it could be defended pretty well. Like that's one of the things that excited me actually when I saw this, was as somebody who's interested in and taking part in the trading side of things, the not so combat side of things, people are still going to be coming after you, and you're going to need to defend yourself. Yeah. And this ship really makes me feel like it can defend itself. It's got the big turret on top. It's got 2 in the back. You got guys that can probably be on those rafters outside shooting at people, because now that we know that we're going to have ground to
well, there's the gravity generator as well, right? This is the first ship we've seen with an actual gravity generator in it.
Yep.
And it was very similar to the one that we saw in Gold Horizon when they showed that, right? So we know that it's off right now and the light's all red in there, but when it's on, it'll be floating and spinning and doing its electric thing. And like the engine room that it has, you see the crawl spaces with the components and stuff like that. Like there's so much cool little things that are a part of this ship that are not only cool but functional, and just make the ship feel like it would be like a real ship, like a real thing that people would be living aboard and
absolutely,
and traveling the universe.
Now, the question I wanna, you said you were gonna pick up a Gemini. You're more on the combat side of things.
That's correct.
I'm more on the cargo side of things. I will not be picking up a Gemini. I didn't see the value in losing any cargo space, and just for additional buffed guns and some shields and things like that. I know that I'm going to play this game with friends as much as possible. So when I take this thing out, I'm going to be protected by other people.
Right.
What do you plan on using yours for? Do you think is this going to be your crew's refueler, like when you guys are out on a long
kind of something like that? Also, the ability to how else are you going to steal fuel from other ships, right? So if you come across a Starfarer, right, how are you going to be able to steal that fuel without? I mean, you could just take the whole
another
ship,
Starfarer,
but and that's what I'm saying. If you can detach those pods in the back, the big kegs, if you will,
which you absolutely can,
right? So if
you can see the thing, so
I'll never be flying around with the kegs on. We'll just go and jack other people's kegs, right? Like that's what I'm saying.
You're calling them kegs.
Yeah, the easiest way to visualize what they are. But it's like, okay, so you have those things, you can fly without them, and then as you come across another Starfarer, we're more weaponized, and so we can actually take part in acquiring those, and then we get them to drop them. We pick them up on this. We let them keep their ship if they're listening, and then that's it. And then that way we don't need to worry about having another crew on a ship or having another, we don't necessarily even need to board their ship, right? So anything where we can mitigate casualties, more so on our own side, then the better, right? So the easier it is for us. So that's why I would be interested in having a few of these for the org. And even if we're not doing something like that, like you said, if we have some bigger ships and we're going further out into unknown space, which I imagine where we're going to be, right? We're going to be outside of UE charted space. Having fuel tankers on hand will be useful, and having those fuel tankers able to help defend things, even if it's only a little bit better, is going to be definitely more useful as well.
Cool. Moving on, do you want to talk about the blade a little bit?
Yes, let's talk about the blade. I have some concept art.
Cool. And then also when we're done discussing our points on it now, they have the QA up. Do you want to? We can maybe talk about that as well up on the website, and we can go over what, because maybe whatever we discuss might get answered in that QA.
Yes.
Who knows? So, what's your feeling on it? Because I have pretty mixed feelings.
Okay, so I know this is the blade here. So I'll be going through this as I talk about it. And another Vanduul ship, right? We've had the Scythe, we have the Glaive, and now we have the Blade. The Blade is the light fighter, where the Glaive is the medium fighter, and the Scythe are the two medium fighters. This is very similar to, I feel, on the human side of things, a Gladius.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people are, okay, it went up on the concept sale for $250. And I'm not sure if they still come with them now, with the models and posters. I don't know if they still do that, if they're still doing those things.
I didn't buy it, so I didn't look at the...
I'll look at that after we're done showing some pictures here.
Okay.
But for me, I have a feeling there's a reason, besides them wanting to keep them a little more rare, for the pricing that they have. And I think that they've sort of talked about some of the gameplay things that you get with specific ships, like the Cutlass Blue or the Avenger, the police missions. I think the Cutlass Blue is the only one that gets the police missions and stuff like that. You have the Vanduul ships will possibly let you fly through Vanduul areas undetected. We also know that not only do you need the physical looking like them, but you will also need the electronic signature, which none of the Asperia ships come with. The Scythe, I'm not sure, but the Glaive and the Blade definitely do not come with those electronic signatures. However, we don't know if those are going to be able to be acquired or not. But if they are, I can very, very easily see this becoming something that allows you to do possibly Vanduul missions in the game, or get through Vanduul space a lot easier without
maybe
being...
they just won't.
They won't do anything, right? If you have the right tribe markings or whatever, then if you went in with a freelancer with the electronic signature, then if they physically saw you, then it could be an issue. So I think that there's going to be some things like that are going to justify the price, but we just don't know about yet. Because I know a lot of people are freaking out, like, why would I spend $250 on a ship that I could get the Gladius that is essentially the same thing for $90? And I think that's what the answer is right there. Also that, and you get a really freaking cool looking ship.
It really reminds me of, I don't know how to say it because it's freaking Kilrathi. It's hard to say, but it's like the Sarka or something like that. I think that was the ship that it was from Wing Commander 2, Wing Commander 3. It really looks like that ship. I wish...
It's got a very Bird of Prey feeling.
Here. He would know what it was right away. But they're definitely showing how they're taking the Vanduul and paying homage to the Kilrathi from Chris's Wing Commander days with this ship, in my opinion, even more so than the Scout and the Glaive with the Dralthi. But for me, I agree with you 100%. There is one reason that this thing is priced what it's at, and it's because they want you to say that it's, you know what, that's too high.
Yeah,
it's too expensive. I'm not going to buy it, because they want the majority of backers to say, you know what, it's too much for me, because they want these things to be rare. They want them to be unique. They don't want them flying all over the place. It would make UEE space look weird, right? It wouldn't make sense if it was just all Vandal ships flying around because you guys wanted to look cool. So this ship, in my opinion, it's not about any of its stats. It's about, damn, that thing looks cool, and damn, I have to have it, and I don't care how much it costs. Those are the people that are buying the blade, you know, and they priced it for those people.
Okay, I'm gonna show my hanger on the screen. Something you're gonna notice, because when you have limited ship sales like this, I'm gonna pick these up, and if people need them later on, or if people join the game later on, you can get upgrade from the Warden, which is a commonly available ship, to the Asperia blade for free. So I have 10 of those. Yeah, so I picked up 10 of those. But I'm going to check right now. What's that?
Are those ship upgrades giftable?
Yes.
Oh, sick. Okay.
Oh, wait. Maybe not. It doesn't say.
So now you have 10 of those?
So now I have 10 of them that don't do anything. Okay, I take it back. They may not be giftable. Okay, so I have the standalone ship, Asperia Vandal Blade, and it comes with the Vandal Blade poster, the Vandal Blade model, lifetime insurance, and the VFG industrial hanger, which also, remember, that hanger on its own sells for $50.
Yep.
So keep that in mind as well. That's something that the Gladius definitely does not come with. The Gladius, I think, comes with either the Selfland. I think it comes with the Selfland hanger or the business hanger.
It's got to come with. It comes with the. It's got to come with.
We're gonna find out. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Let's go ships, and let's go to. Let's search Gladius, and I'll tell you right now.
And while you're doing that, a lot of people are saying it in the chat. PTUB.
AeroView hanger and 6 months insurance.
Yeah, AeroView.
PTUB, awesome. You know, my other computer. I was talking about this, how I have 2 computers for gaming and 1 for my streaming machine. My other computer still isn't even on 2.2 yet, let alone anything else. And it's like all these updates, and it's like when I'm downloading on this one, I can't download on the other one, and because it just kills the internet and everything. But we'll start downloading that after the podcast. But yeah, with the Gladius, you're getting the Gladius, the AeroView hanger, and 6 months insurance. With the blade, you're getting the blade, the VFG industrial hanger, the model, the poster, and LTI. And even though those things don't really add up to obviously another $140 or whatever, it's still...
But the ship on its own is worth more than 90.
Right, the ship on its own is worth more than 90, number one. And number two, we don't know what those gameplay experiences that we're going to be able to get with Vandal ships are going to be. But we know that there's definitely going to be something in there that's...
And we know what we get with the Gladius, right? We're getting combat ship. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, other than that...
That's it. CitizenCon tickets.
Yes, CitizenCon
those
tickets
things
on sale.
Blew by so quick. We both missed.
Oh my God.
The first day we're both
first
subscribers.
Day for the subscriber day.
I got on, it said there were 4 left. I went to get one and they were sold out. And I had set my alarm and everything, and I still didn't make it.
Yeah. And for me, I was at work, and I even sent some messages out and was trying to say what do I do if I don't get these tickets? I really want to go. And they were pretty much just you're just like everybody else, dude.
Tough
Everybody wants to go to this thing. Sorry. You're not a special snowflake. And I always wanted to be a special snowflake, and I'm still
at least just once.
Just one time.
But good news is the second day we did get them. We made sure there was a whole group of us that still needed to get them, and we were all yeah, we got them. There was more than enough left, and but they went really quickly. They went really quickly.
Yes.
That being said, we are going to be at CitizenCon. We are going to be there for a few days. I know I'm probably going to be there a little bit longer than Twerk is. But
yeah, I might be there for a couple of days.
The whole of the Redacted content creators, I think for the most part, are going to be there. And yeah, it's going to be cool. We have Redacted Mansion that we're going to be doing stuff, and we're going to have at least one night where we're going to interact with all the fans and have them over and do all that stuff, and we'll give you more information as we know more about that coming up. It's still a few months out. I still need to fundraise for me to get down there.
I gotta get flights still. I gotta get my flight.
I have to get figure out whether we're driving or if I'm gonna fly down. and accommodation costs and stuff like that. So I'm gonna start probably fundraising for that in the near future. But yeah, really, really excited about CitizenCon. And if it's the thing
That's
with
gonna be
this,
the most epic.
yeah, the thing with this one is I think it'll be
ever.
similar to PAX, but PAX was happening the entire time as we were there, and there was like so much stuff to go and do and all of this other stuff that I was also preoccupied doing. Where this is just like one night, and then the rest of the time we can all hang out and like and just be strengthen our communities. So I'm
Absolutely.
really, really, really looking forward to it.
The bonds that we built at PAX from just the little time that we spent together with I mean not just you and I, but like other people that we met, like some of the test guys and stuff. Like I had so much fun and met so many great people that CitizenCon is literally PAX for Star Citizen fans. It's gonna be, I mean, it's gonna be I think it's going to be one of the highlights of my year, if not my life. It should be a really, really good time because I haven't been able to make it to a CitizenCon yet. I know you haven't been able to make it to one yet either. So this is going to be our first CitizenCon. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it for news. Obviously, we got 2.3B has just gone live. To those with PTU access. I don't know if there's anything else that we need to cover before I jump into some questions here. We have a few questions. We're not going to take too many this week because we did have David Ladyman and Ryan Archer on earlier. And I will play that Kickstarter video for you guys again before we go. But let's jump into these questions. We're going to take these, and then after this... I'm going to be doing some cool stuff on my stream, but let's take our first question from Syracuse23, and he asks...
It's long.
Yeah, I know, they're all long. With the Cartoal being flyable, we can see a glimpse of Xi'an technology and specifically a different Q-Drive tech. Do you think there should be a completely unique set of tech associated with it, or should human and alien technologies be compatible? For example, when it comes to interdiction and pulling people off Q-Drive and stopping them from engaging Q-Drive, should there be two different technologies, one for Xi'an and one for humans, or should we be able to interact Xi'an ship with the same tech that we use to interdict a human ship?
I think we should be able to interdict all ships the same.
Yes.
But I really like the fact that maybe the way that we came across technology about traveling through space for each race is slightly different, if not with some of them being completely different.
We know that unless a ship has the proper upgraded hard points, right? That, for example, a Vanduul ship can equip human weapons. And I think that we're going to see a lot of the things with components. They're just not going to be compatible unless the ship is made compatible for humans. Like we see it with the Xi'an ship. It's made for a human market, so it makes sense that it can have human weapons on it. Where the Vanduul ship is made as a complete replica, so it doesn't have that, and it stays true to that. But when you talk about interdiction, I think that one of the things that they've sort of spilt the beans on a little bit is talking about the gravity generators and pulling people out with out of warp and stuff like that with gravity, and pulling them into that. I forget what the word was that they called them. But that gravity would affect everything. It doesn't matter if it's Xi'an, Vanduul, Misk, Drake, Aegis, whatever. So I don't think we're going to see anything like that because the Q-Drive tech, even though we have different things that do it, they're still essentially doing the same thing, even though the effects are different and whatever. So I imagine that, and it would just become too complicated. Like, how would you know, say for example, you're a bounty hunter and you're going after a specific type of ship, or a specific bounty. How do you know what ship they're flying?
How do you even know that it's that kind of ship? Yeah.
Yeah, and so that just creates complications and circumstances that just aren't necessary, I think.
Yeah, it would make the gameplay.
Yeah, whereas as
enjoyable.
fitting equipment is different, right? So then you
Yeah.
have to fit the equipment to the ship. But having something like this, you're going to have it. So I think, anyways, that it has to sort of be universal to pull that stuff out. Just like jumping is universal, or going through jump points will be, or quantuming between points is universal, or flying is universal, right? Even though they fly differently or use different tech to do it, they still achieve the same end goal. So I don't think that we'll see, oh, you can't pull this one out of quantum because it's a different type of ship.
Gotcha.
Steve J asks, how hard do you think it should be to board a ship while in flight? Do you think you should just be able to open the door, or should you have to use a hacking device or breaching charge? And if you have to use a device center, do you think it should be a mini game or time-based? Okay, so while in flight, I don't think we're going to be boarding any ships while in flight. I think you're going to have to disable them, or they're going to have to stop. Unless for some reason you've stowed away on board outside the ship somehow and are able to move around on the ship already while it's flying around. I don't think we're going to see any sort of jumping around. Two ships going at 1,000 meters per second, you're not going to be able to jump over and just start boarding that way. I don't think. In regards to getting into ships, yeah, so I think we're going to see things like welding torches and stuff like that, plasma cutters that we're going to have to cut through. And while it necessarily might not be a mini game, it might be a time-based thing. So it takes a certain amount of time to cut through with that, and it could possibly set off alerts inside the ship so they can be prepared for the boarding as well. Or there may be something like you said with a breaching charge where there is no time frame, but you have, if you need to have the space for those explosions to go off, otherwise you're going to take damage as well. That's going to be something they're going to have to balance, so it works for both sides.
Yeah, I mean, and definitely, we did a podcast on this specifically a long time ago, probably about 45 episodes ago, where we talked about boarding in particular. And one of the things, now this, again, that was 45 episodes ago, and that was even longer in the past where they actually did that dev post. I'm trying to look for it for you now, where they discussed what boarding would be like. And essentially, you have to disable a ship in order to board it. So if you're going to board a ship while it's flyable, it means that you boarded it while it was on the ground, and then it started flying, and then you took it over, type of situation, as far as I understand. But again, that was a long time ago. Things change. But at that moment, and the last time that we heard about it, is you had to disable it. So I'm going to look it up for you now.
Also, remember, we have the new damage state stuff and the new damage state text, so you might not even necessarily have to go through a door. Because everything has changed since they really we're talking about the boarding possibilities. Because at first it was only through doors and through airlocks, and then it sort of upgraded to certain places on the ship only. And now that we have the new damage tech, it could technically be anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Our next question comes from 100 Broken. What level of detail is likely to be available on other players for hiring for a job/escort? Will there be past achievements, actions, notable job completions or failures, or simply a rating system in rep? I think we're going to see something similar to like a Yelp style thing for for people that have done missions, whether they be NPCs or players. So people can rate on how they've done on those missions.
Yeah, which almost makes them have skill ranks, maybe, right?
Well,
like,
it's how happy was your employer with the job that you did, and then they can rate how quick was it, how effective was it, and all of this other. Did they lose any cargo? Were there any issues? Stuff like that, and they can give you a small rating, like what is their combat abilities and stuff like that, and they give you sort of a rating. It's not really skills, but
not really, but sort of, yeah.
But it's sort of, right? Like you could be, you could find a diamond in the rough that way, right? You could find someone whose skills are actually higher, but somebody hired me for transport when I'm much better at combat, right? And so my overall score or something might not be as high, so I can't demand as high a price or something like that later on. But I think that's how we're going to see. We're going to see, and they've sort of alluded to this in the past, is having some sort of rating system for hiring people, and that's what their prices are based off of.
Yeah. And then, by the way, I just put the boarding link in the chat.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Our next question from Yinzer. Do you think CIG will hold ship sales for all ships when they come out hangar ready flyable? Yes. They've already said that.
They always have.
Yep. Yep. But it's good that you asked that because a lot of people don't know that. So when a ship becomes flyable or when it becomes hangar ready, they do put them on sale. So right now you can't get the Starfarer, but once it goes to public, we'll be able to get the Starfarer. Same thing with the Cartoal Scout, the Xi'an Scout. Bush, 20,089 asks, will it be worthwhile getting a two-man miner if you already own a big constellation? Will the constellation be able to mine? Well, let's answer the second question first. We don't know 100% yet.
We don't know.
But we think that there's going to be things like mining lasers and stuff like that. And we won't really know until we see the components and what they're compatible with.
And we know that it can hold cargo,
yeah,
but we don't know if it can just take
hold
rocks.
raw cargo.
And, you know,
or if maybe you need some sort of crates or whatever to do that. But we don't know if they will be like if your weapons hard points, if you could just replace those with mining things or salvage arms and stuff like that, or if you'll need dedicated ones, or maybe they'll go back and say, okay, these hard points are usable for our universal, but these ones are weapons only. So we don't know how viable it will be, but I imagine they want to give us those options and make the ships into whatever we want. The second thing is it really depends on how viable that two-man miner is compared to a constellation. You may be able to get a two-man miner that's bigger than a constellation at some point down the road that we don't know about yet, right? That maybe comes out after the game is out.
Or you may want it smaller.
Or you may want it smaller to get in little areas. So it really depends on what is what it is you're going after, and to see if it's worthwhile or not. It's kind of hard to say, especially without the mechanic in place, and with really only one mining ship we know of, and that's the Orion. And yeah. So, our last question here from Duke Slayer. How much do you guys think it will be to damage the inside of a ship if you use a grenade in the FPS boarding battle?
I think it'll do some damage.
It depends on where it is, right? I bet you if you throw a grenade in that cargo room, it's not going to do any damage. Like, it's going to dent the floor.
It will, but
it'll do damage, but it's going to set off some lights and some sprinklers. But if you throw that,
you do it near the
engine, or you throw it in with the turret guy, right? Or you throw it in where the gravity generator is, you could knock out the gravity.
Or the tanks.
Or if you can find where those components are that run all the shields or run the CPU stuff and the engine management, then you're gonna have to be tactical and effective with those kind of things. I think. I mean, that's why they're making those things there. So if you save your grenades for things like that are it's gonna throw some things off. But yeah, I think that's it for the questions. Twerk 17. What are you up to this next week? And what is happening in your channel?
I'm going to be putting up... I haven't figured out when I'm going to be doing any giveaways, but when I do them, when I'm actually...
Well, we know 2.3 to live first.
Yeah. Right? So, well, no, I got maybe something coming up before it goes to live. This weekend. I don't know what it's going to be, but the way you're going to find out what it's going to be is I'm going to start putting them up on the events calendar for Star Citizen. So not only is that going to be there, but we're going to put up the live stream for Star Traders and stuff like that up there. So and all the events for any of the Redacted content creators when they have a big giveaway going on, that is going to be your spot to find out when that stuff is. So that's where I'm going to announce that stuff. And that is my plan. That is my job right now is that. And then I got to write another article and maybe make another YouTube video. I have lots going on right now, but the the plan for this week is hopefully 2.3b is much more stable, and then it's really just about playing.
I assume you're downloading that right after this.
Right after this.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. And where can people find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/Torque17, and the big places where I'm most active would be on Twitter and YouTube, and those are both at Torque17 Gaming. So just search at Torque17 Gaming, and you'll find me there. I posted a pretty funny video of Lola today. You saw that, Saurus. Yep. So my Twitter is more like if you want to see me outside of the stream, and the YouTube is more of like I'm trying to make that informational type content for that.
Right.
So yeah. What about you?
Yeah, so I have everything set up for guests. Like I said earlier, you can see. Look at this. We could have a buddy.
Yeah, change the scene.
That's sitting. Yeah, so I'll actually show you here. I'll show it on my stream here later. But we have this is my multicam, and so this shows. This is obviously both here, and then we each have our own individual screens there. I've been working on, I don't want to show this, so let's minimize that. But if we go to my gaming scene, you can see up in the corner here, I have the other monitor, and here, and then if we go vice versa, this is that. And then what's really cool is the split screen. So the split screen stuff is going to be pretty cool. We've tested that out quite extensively, and I'm looking forward to that. And getting someone in that seat, I'm really excited. We should have some people over this weekend. Hopefully, I have a fridge stock full of beer that I'm trying to lure people here with. So, you know, come over, play some video games, hang out, and you know, introduce themselves to the community and stuff like that. So getting some other local streamers and stuff like that is really exciting for me.
Nice, man. I'm proud of you.
We are going to be playing 2.3b. Well, first we're going to be playing Download Commander, but then I'll be playing 2.3b. I don't know if you're going to join me or not. I can help you make videos if you are.
Yeah, I'll try and join with you for maybe a little bit. Depends on how long it takes.
Yeah.
Because I need to eat and all that stuff too.
So
we're
going to do that. When 2.3 goes to live, hopefully it does before our next podcast, I'll be doing a Gemini LTI giveaway for subscribers.
Awesome.
And as always, you can find me on twitch.tv/WTFOSaurus, which is where you're at right now, or twitter.com/WTFOSaurus. You can also find us on Redacted at redacted.tv. And I want to say a huge thank you to all of our patrons for the Redacted TV. It does allow us to do a lot of things, and it will allow us to do a lot of things going forward as well, for not only us on the podcast, but us for the team, the website, and bringing you more and more awesome content like we have been doing. If there is anything you would like to see on the Redacted website or the forums, please don't hesitate to contact myself, Twerk, or BoredGamer, and we will do our best to make sure that if it's a good fit and it makes sense for it to be on there, that it gets on there for you. We have an awesome group of content creators that I couldn't ask for better guys, more interactive and talented guys. So
and motivated.
Huge shout out to everybody on the Redacted team, and thank you so much for joining us on the 51st episode of Redacted, and a huge shout out again and thank you to David Ladyman and Ryan Archer for taking time out of their busy schedule during their Kickstarter campaign to share with us Star Traders and what they do on Star Citizen. It is very much appreciated, and I hope to get them on again in the future. Hopefully after a very successful Kickstarter campaign. You'll be able to see them on Friday on twitch.tv/Clifford_aka_Miku. I know I will be stopping by to say hello and all of that other stuff. I will be live in about 3 minutes, guys, so just stick around and we will be right back. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week.